Hello there. My name is Miki Wright, and I want to welcome you to Beauty Superstars Talk, your backstage past experts in beauty. So, thank you so much for being here as we finish up our series on Let's Talk Texture. And I'd like to take time just to welcome our new sponsor for this exciting series, and that's the Black Beauty Expo. The Black Beauty Expo is the hottest show for Black creative entrepreneurs in hair, fashion, photography, modeling, and the makeup industry. So their next show is August 1st in Atlanta, Georgia. So be sure to follow them and to keep up with the latest news on their show and for special vendor packages. In addition, I'm super excited to announce that I'm now the Global Education Director for the Black Beauty Expo. So if you are interested in educating, please reach out to me. And this month, if you've been following along, has been all about textured hair, natural hair, whatever you want to call it. We've had lots of discussions about all of that all month long. And we've had some absolutely amazing guests as well. But when most people think of that topic, they think of the hair. Sometimes they forget that it's actually a business. And in addition to styling techniques, we need to learn what it takes to succeed as a natural hair pro. Basically, topics like marketing and social media need to be at the top of our list. And so my guest tonight excels in both. Her name is Dr. Tanya Taylor. And if you Google Sister Locks in Houston, her salon, which is Tan's Natural Hair Care, will come up. And if you scroll down, you're likely to see her Yelp reviews as well. And tonight she's going to share how she's filled her practice with ideal clients using online marketing strategies and how you can do the same thing too. So definitely stay tuned. And if you have any friends who want to learn more, please tag them now. It's going to be a very exciting evening. And we are awaiting the return of our guest. So she should be here momentarily. But before we get into our interview tonight, I'm actually excited to share that next week we'll be beginning the Roots of Hair Loss series, and we have such an incredible group of experts for the month. Hair loss is actually affecting millions of women in the U.S., around the globe, but particularly in the U.S., and I can guarantee you that some of them are actually sitting in your chair right now. So what can we do to educate and intervene early enough to make a difference for our clients? So we will start with one of the top educators in non-surgical hair replacements, and that is Gigi Ford. And she is a world-renowned specialist, an innovator in the industry, an educator, and she's actually trained many of the top hair replacement specialists in this country. So these hair loss talks, they're actually for consumers as well as beauty pros. So please invite anyone or someone who wants to learn more about, as we go through the month, the causes, things that we can do, the treatments that are available. And like Gigi will start us off with hair replacement options. So next week, we actually will have a double header as well. So I'll be back again on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And I'll meet with someone who is not connected to hair loss, but is a behind the scenes icon in our industry. His name is Mr. Fred Miller Jr. And you've heard the saying, the show must go on. Well, it doesn't go on without this man and his team working their magic behind the scenes. So in his 30-plus year career, he's met and worked with and created lasting relationships with many of the top hairstylists, makeup artists, and educators in our industry. So he's a legend in his own right, but he's actually going to take us on a journey to share stories of backstage bloopers, his experience in the industry as a trade show and event producer, which is actually a career path you may not know much about. In fact, I don't, and I'm super excited to hear more about what it is that he does and how these shows all come together. He'll also share some stories of the fabulous people that he's worked with. So this will be a little bit of everything. So I can't wait, kind of that backstage peep that we always want to take. So I think you don't want to miss either of these. And if you're not already, I'd like to invite you to follow me on Instagram at Miki Wright, which is just 1K, MIKI, WRIGHT. For next month, I'm going to be doing hair loss tips, and you'll want to kind of key in and maybe share some of those with some of your clients, some of your colleagues, or what have you. And if you've missed any of the previous Beauty Superstars Talk interviews, you can actually catch them on YouTube at Miki Wright, which again is MikiWright, and listen to them on Apple or iTunes or your favorite podcast carrier. So I'd love it if you listen in, subscribe, and definitely leave your comments, and we'll get back with you. And so many people have asked how they can partner with us to expand the work that we're doing. And I'm happy to announce that we have a new partner program, and you can even sponsor a deserving student or beauty pro with training. So just visit beautysuperstars.com and look for the red button. And last week, I was featured on Volume Up. It's a podcast by industry publication, the T.E.N, which I think is an awesome addition to our industry. And it was a very real interview where I got to share some of my story of getting started, my first salon, expansions, and all of that kind of good stuff. And in addition, I shared some of my views on the state of racism in our industry and some steps you can take right now to boost your salon business. So it's actually on my blog at beautysuperstars.com. And I'd love to know your thoughts on some of the things that I shared. And so again, my name is Miki Wright, and I'm grateful that you're here, and I'm grateful for the privilege every week to meet with amazing Black beauty bosses who are making their mark in the beauty industry. And more than a podcast, it's actually a movement. We want to encourage Black excellence, entrepreneurship, and preserve our history and bring healing to our industry. So I actually want to introduce my guest, but she's not here. So I'm just going to talk with you just a little bit before she gets here. And I'm going to see if I can connect with her to see if she's having trouble. Let's see here. Okay. So it's like, I'll go ahead and read her bio and just share a little bit as far as a conversation that we had last night. It's like, I don't know if you guys are on Clubhouse or not, but it's, so many people are. It's right now, it's still iOS only. So only people with iPhones or iPads or something like that can get onto it, but it will be expanding to include Android soon. I don't know any exact dates or anything, but we had a great conversation last night on social media, with questions, with comments, with all types of tips from several folks who are sharing information. And so I'm wanting to just share, some of the things that we were talking about, kind of what not to share, how to get consistent, and how important consistency is, not only for the algorithms, but for your client interaction, because they're sitting there waiting on your post, assuming that you're kind of consistent. It's like, oh, what do they have to say today? And how important it is to kind of let them see part of your personality, what it's like behind the scenes, kind of to work with you or be your client, and give them kind of sneak peeks. And then, whether you're working on Facebook, there were different tips specifically for that. And then there were some that were specifically for Instagram. And tonight we are going to focus on Google, which I'm super excited about because it's not one of the things that you hear about all the time. And it's such an effective way to boost your business. And so it looks like Ms. Dr. Tanya Taylor is here. So let's see if I can bring her up. Hi there, Tan.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well, doing well. If you can come a little closer, I think we'll be able to hear you just a teensy bit better.
Okay, can you hear me
There
now?
you are. Perfect. So we're super happy that you're here. It's like just wanting to give me a little heart failure, right? So
you don't know about heart failure. I'm like, oh. My stylist literally was running behind me like, wait. I'm like, I gotta do this.
Right. Yep. Sometimes the time is up. So it's like, okay, ready or not, here we go.
Yes, here we go.
But I was just sharing a little bit as far as how we don't hear so much about Google and how powerful a tool it is. And so I can't wait to jump in. I want to share your bio, and then we'll start having our conversation.
All right.
So Dr. Tanya Taylor, pronounced Tanya, Taylor is a natural hair care specialist, master loctician, and owner and stylist at Tan's Natural Hair Care Salon, owner, producer, manufacturer, and distributor for Missy Poo's Sensation products, which is trademarked. It's a naturally based and cruelty-free product located in Houston, Texas. Creator and owner of the Tan Loc Mentorship program, the creator and owner of the Tan Loc brand, which is trademarked as well, Loc Methods, and owner of Tan's Beauty Emporium, an online beauty supply store. Woohoo! So Dr. Taylor believes that natural hair is beautiful, professional, and unique. Dr. Taylor's mission is to continuously create natural and natural-based hair, locks, and body products that assist in growing, cleansing, and moisturizing the hair. To continue her evolution in the natural hair care industry, Dr. Taylor is also currently training Tan Loc Brand Mavens in order to eventually create her very own Tan's InStyle Network, T.E.N. or T.E.N., providing opportunities for aspiring lock stylists to build their own brand. Tan has been rated as number 5 among Houston's top 10 natural hair stylists, TGIN, featured on CW39 Newsfix, which is channel 39 in Houston, featured on Loving Locks or in Loving Locks magazine, rated as Houston's best sister lock salon on Yelp, has appeared in Sophisticate's Black Hair Care magazine, is a mentor for Emerge, is it Nabia, Nabia, which is founded by Diane Carroll Bailey. And Tanya is is a trained natural hair care specialist, master loctician, certified Haya Beauty Style Network stylist, which is a trademark, and certified Sister Locks trademark consultant under the tutelage of Noreen Burnham of EP Natural Hair Design in Houston, Texas, Madam and Shanti Walker of Madam Walker's Braidery and School in Temple Hills, Maryland, Dr. Joanne Cornwell, Sister Locks in California, and Darius Peace of Haya Beauty in Birmingham, Alabama. So woohoo, that's quite impressive.
And even through all of that, I am still humble and I'm still learning. This is a journey, that's not the final destination.
Absolutely. That's why we love you, why you're here. And so I guess I want to start with like full disclosures. Like Tan is actually one of my coaching clients. And and so we'll talk about that a little bit later, but I'll refer to her as Tan, but we'll go into her doctor title as well. But tell us, like, how did you get started with hair? Like, what was your path?
My path was very simple. I think I started doing hair actually in high school. I actually started doing hair in high school. And as my mom would always take my sister and I to the beauty salons and hair salons. And also she could do our hair as well. She could do our hair as well because she started going to beauty school when she first got to Houston, Texas. She was from a little town called Chapel Hill, Texas. And so she wasn't sure when she got here, you know, she was newly married. So she didn't know whether she wanted to go into hair or business or what have you. But she actually did hair when she was a teenager. And so I think that passed down to me. I could actually just duplicate a stylist style on my mom's hair or my sister's hair, like the following week or whatever. So I knew I had a natural talent for that. And when I really got into natural hair is when I started to get locks. Of course, as you can see, I don't have locks at this particular point, but I will get locks back. But when I first got the locks, I had some stylists that were really instrumental in motivating me to want to actually go into the natural hair care circuit. And I think that's what got me started. Just looking at, and also back in the day, just looking at the stylists, and then they were putting these bad styles on clients and things like that. And the clients really looked good and they felt good when they left. And I think that's what made me want to go into hairstyling.
Okay. And this is a second career for you. Is that correct?
It is. I am actually, this is my second career. I was actually in education for close to 18 years. I was a biology teacher. I was an educational consultant. And yeah, so this is a different career. This is a different career.
Yeah. So what was that transition like? You know, was it something deliberate or something that, you know, something happened and it's like, I'm just going to do this, or what was that like for you? Because I know there's people out here watching that are like in a job and they're like secretly like, I really wish I was in a salon right now.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I actually this was my passion. Now I had looked into being an X-ray tech. I had looked into being an Eastern medicine trainer, you know, like a practitioner. I looked into all of those things. But those things weren't really my passion. I didn't really feel like I would get a benefit out of it like I did when I, you know, taught kids. But I will tell you, during the time of Enron, I was an educational consultant. And
Mm,
at that time, every career path was being touched by, I think it was a recession at the time, and
mhm,
everything was being touched except education. But I knew it
mm,
was only a matter of time because education had not been touched. And when I say touched, that simply means that they weren't affected by job shortages, etc.
okay.
So, you know, there was a, you know, I believe in a higher power, and the higher power spoke to me and said, you know, you really need to think about changing your career,
Mhm,
because just because a career hasn't been affected by a recession doesn't mean that it won't be affected in a few years. So this
mhm,
is what started me on the path of looking at other career paths. And the reason that I did not go back into hairstyling is because I first wanted to be a hairstylist before I even went to college. And my mother said, no, you will not go and be a hairstylist. You will go, you will get an education and you will get some benefits, et cetera, et cetera. Because this is how it was set up back in, I would say, even 20 years ago and back before that. Um, it was, you go to school, you either get a trade, you get a good job, you work that job, you move up if you can, and you retire from that job. But
mhm,
in recent years, what you've seen is that some of these corporations and businesses are not letting you, they're not allowing you to retire from their job. And they're making it increasingly difficult because they're looking more at the bottom line. They're looking more at a person coming in from with 0 to 2 years or 0 to, I'd say, 3 years. We can probably hire 5 of those types of people versus a veteran.
mhm,
And it doesn't mean that a veteran employee has done anything wrong per se, but they're looking at you from a per capita standpoint. So seeing that that was the case, and I've had, like, you know, little part-time jobs before I actually got into my educational career, and just going through and just, I guess, just playing the game. I guess I got tired of playing the game.
mm,
And what I mean by that is there's a lot of pomp and circumstance that goes into corporate America, education America. If you are working for someone, there is pomp and circumstance that goes into it. Now, don't get me wrong. In your own business, there is also pomp and circumstance if you want to maintain your clientele. But the pomp and circumstance is different. So I think that the straw, or the catalyst that helped me into this career, was the fact that I was at a point in my educational career as to where I had become burnout. I had
mm,
become rather stressed behind the rhetoric, the educational rhetoric that was going on at the time, in my opinion. And so I said, if you can follow the lead of people who are doing what they need to do to get paid,
mm.
surely you can be your own boss. And so that's what I decided to do. And in doing so, I laid the groundwork. So I didn't just say I quit with no plan.
Right,
No,
right.
this was a plan. This was at least a, ooh, this was let me see. I left twice. I left for good in 2013, but I left, believe it or not, I left in 2011 And then I came back in 2013, and I think I left for good. So this was a plan this was a years long plan, because you're transitioning. You have to see, okay, how am I going to pay my bills, and how is this going to look? But I took the suicide route. I was doing a lot when I was in and when I say suicide, as far as the career and everything, I had a lot of things going on at the same time. I was finishing up my doctoral degree. I was working on my product line, and I was trying to get into the business of natural hair care and styling. So
Mm,
that was a tall order. And I think the most heartbreaking thing that really pushed me over the edge to really become a natural hairstylist was the death of my first loctician, Tiffany Miles. And I
mm,
think we had only been together like 2 years, as far as, she was maintaining my locks and establishing my locks. And unfortunately, she met an untimely death.
mm,
And I had to end up finding another natural hair care stylist who happened to be a natural hair care instructor as well. So
mm,
this is how I actually broke into the natural hair care training field. I became um, an apprentice. I was trained. I became an apprentice. But through all of
mm,
this, I invested. So none of this was what you call for free. I
mm.
invested. So this is where I started. This is where I started, and here I am.
Wow. Well, that's quite a journey, quite a transition, and very different types of fields. So, is there, just quickly, anything or some of the things that were part of your experience from being in education, from, you know, doing all of the education that you did? It's like you mentioned getting your doctorate, which is why your title is doctor. So, congratulations on that. That's huge. And,
Thank you.
and so, are there some of the things that you learned or experienced in that arena that helped propel you forward? Because you're talking about like 2013 starting, and this we're at 2021, so that's not even 10 years yet.
Well, actually, it started. I started in 2000. I actually started in 2011. So
Okay.
this is why
But
I'm a decade in. I started in 2011. Before I
Mhm,
left education, I was already training to be a natural hair care person. So I've been 10 years in the lock game, but I just decided to just quit education as far as public in the public sector. This is
mhm.
where I decided to just quit that and also evolve into another career. But to get back to your question, I think everything I attribute everything to what I have learned in the educational sector as to how I can better maintain clientele, establish a certain class of clientele, and actually be able to establish everything that I do, as far as marketing, communicating with the clients, knowing which kinds of clients that I want to actually entertain, um, and just being able to communicate with them and understand their backgrounds. Um,
Mm,
this this was something that helped me when I was an educational consultant. Yes, a teacher, because I can educate my clients about their hair, and plus I taught biology. I was a biology teacher,
mhm,
so I was able to teach them. I'm able to teach them about their hair and their scalp and why they need to use certain products, because I also have a chemistry background as well. But most important, it's the interpersonal relationships that really helped. I think before I became a an educational consultant, I was only dealing with a certain group or cluster of a personality. So if I'm just at one school, at one location, in one neighborhood, and those are only people that I deal with. But I had to travel all over the United States. So I got to deal with superintendents. I got to deal with the deputy superintendents and principals, administrators, etc. So these were different personalities, different cultures, across different contexts. And these experiences are what shaped, I think, more of my confidence And actually being able to open up. I was always I'm an ambivert, so I'm introverted in a way, and I'm extroverted in other ways. So I guess this helped me to be extroverted in the ways that I needed to be. Speaking in front of anywhere between 200 to 300 people, and it's just little me with the mic, and I had to really command the crowd and be able to do what I needed to do. And I think that those are the things, those are the icebreakers. So I think being an educational consultant was an icebreaker to get me to where I am today.
Wow. Yeah, well, that's a phenomenal experience. And I think you're so right with, confidence being one, being able to have conversations, to build relationships and rapport with people from all different, types of backgrounds. And like you say, being really clear on the type of clientele that you wanted to build. So yeah, that's powerful. So I hope you guys are gaining something from just hearing all of that and knowing that sometimes I think there's positives to going outside of the industry for some of your learning and some of your experiences to be able to kind of fully self-develop in a sense. Yeah.
Also, not only that, I want to also say, because, and I'll go back to being an educational consultant again, and I'll also loop it back around to being a teacher. One of the most important components of being an educational consultant and also being a teacher is professional development. You've got to have it. If you are used to doing something a certain way for so long, then you will get stalemated into just that method. And you have to always be fluid. I would say you have to be fluid in the sense that you have to be a living, breathing work in progress. So that's just like to the stylist. Let me just communicate that to the stylist. If you're used to locking hair just one way, that's fine. But what about other procedures or processes that you can use, or other techniques that you can use, that you can learn? So I think it's always important, like I said before, keep yourself fluid and professionally developed. And if you haven't had professional development in, let's say, 5 years, then it's time for you to up the game. It is time for you to up the game.
Absolutely.
Because you can always learn from someone. And even though, I post #1 on in some cases on Google, Sister Locs in Houston, I'm still being coached. I'm still going, I'm still doing a lot of different things simply because I don't want to be that person that says, oh, I've been there, done that. And then it's something new and I get left behind. I never like to be that person.
Okay. Yeah. Don't get left behind. And I know, that you are someone who believes in mentorship and that you have various mentors. I'm grateful to be one of them, and wanted to just kind of get a sense of, for, everyone watching, like, what has the experience, working with me as a coach been like for you, and in what ways has it changed you and or your business?
Well, there is a saying, transform your thinking to transform your life. And my life has been transformed by working with Miki Wright. Like I said before, you think you have it all down together and everything, you're like, okay, I got all these systems in place. And then you realize you have too many systems in place. Okay. And you start, like, okay, why do you have all these systems? And so I think because I came in as an empty vessel, I came in as an empty vessel wanting knowledge to be poured into me. I think this is why I have received so many benefits. Miki will hold you accountable. And by all means, if you have a mentor, you want to be held accountable. You want to be held accountable simply because you want to know that you are growing. You want to know that you're not just wasting words. You want to know that you're not just wasting your efforts talking on a telephone or meeting on Zoom or wherever you meet. You want to be held accountable because you want results.
Right.
And the results are going to show when your bottom line increases, when you can get more sleep at night, and when your clientele changes for the better. And when you see those things happening, then you can say, okay, I am receiving exactly what I am opening myself to receive. And I think that's very important. You have to leave yourself open to receive.
Mm-hmm.
If you come in and say, oh, well, I know everything. What do you need a mentor for?
Yeah.
So I would say, get out of your own way. And I think Miki has told me this before. Get out of your own way. Stop sabotaging yourself. And if you know that you need a mentor, by all means, get one. And get
Yeah.
one who knows what they're doing, what they've talked about. One thing that about Miki that I can truly say is that I've researched her and I know her history. So I already know she's been there and she's done that and she's still doing it. So when I choose a mentor, I'm always choosing a person of whom I aspire to be like or aspire to be. And this is why I chose Miki, and our personalities clicked. And I know I am just off when we have our monthly talks. I'm just all off the wall with different stuff. Oh, Miki, let me tell you. Da, 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 da. And she's like, okay, pause. Let's take one thing at a time. Let's talk about it, which is great. Simply because Miki keeps me focused, and again, she keeps me accountable for if I want to go forward with something, she keeps me accountable, and then she gives me the what if. Okay, what if we did this, and what if you did this differently? So I can truly say that my life has changed for the better, and I can remember a time that I was getting out of salon and sometimes I still have my slip ups, but not many. But not many. Because when you really start looking at it, it's not about you having 7,000 people on your client roster. It's about having clients who will support you and be effective and also be understandable, just as you are understandable to them. And they're going to come in and support you financially. They're going to come in and support you as a stylist and as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this. I'll share this story, and I'll blast it out. I'm gonna blast this out. How about that? But I can remember a time. But I can remember a time as to where I was in a car wreck some years ago, and there was a client who, although she said she understood, she didn't necessarily understand. And it was during the time that I was doing a sister-like install. I think it was like the second day. I'm doing a sister-like install, and I was on my way to work, and I was going to be on time, but I got rear-ended, you know. And so, she said later, I think I had to end up going to physical therapy. And she was like, well, no, I wanted you to do it. And I'm like, but my assistant was here to do it. Make a long story short. Um, I think Miki helps you to actually just focus on what type of stylist you are and what kind of clients that you actually want, and where you want to be. And I think that's great. That's actually great. And it has truly enhanced my quality of life, and it has truly enhanced my career as a natural hair care stylist. Because if you're working from 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. the next morning, you're not taking care of you. And I have had to learn that. And that is one of the lessons. And Miki has also said, okay, are you taking care of you? Are you taking care of you? Because if you can't take care of you, you can't take care of anybody else.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. And it's easy because I know I'm in that workaholic kind of category as well. But it's like that self-care is first. It's like our first and best tool is ourselves, our health, being healthy physically, being healthy mentally and emotionally as well. So
Right.
I appreciate everything that you shared. And I also want to just say that Tan arrived as an open vessel, but Tan arrived, she already was ranked on Google. She already had systems in place, like she mentioned. She already was a top Sister Loc consultant. in the, in the Houston area and in the US. And so all of these things were already in place. And I guess most of the people I work with, they already have some things going on in their lives, that are working well, and they want to be able to take it to the next level. And it does take a certain level of humility, I guess, to have reached these different levels and still know that there's more to reach. So yeah, we're seeing a few things. So I see Black Beauty Culture of Nova Scotia, take care of you, hashtag take care of you. So I love that.
Absolutely.
We might
Absolutely.
have to borrow that one. And before we jump into the meat of everything with Google and all, I wanted to share this because I want you to share with us. It's like you just did a big chop. So Dr. Tanya Tando Kafele says, Dr.
Hey,
Tanya.
Tanya, how are you? Thank you.
Yeah. So tell us what was because you had locks hanging down and all that kind of good stuff. So what was that like for you? What was the reasoning, and what are you up to now?
Well, here's a good hashtag for you. The hashtag is hashtag press reset. Sometimes in your life, you're going to go through things and you're going to say, okay, I don't know what's happening. I don't know why it's happening. But, we always say when it's something, when things keep happening, obviously something good is going to come out of this. And so sometimes you have to press reset and say, wait a minute, let me remember who I am first. Let me remember who I am and whose I am first, and then I can work on everything else. And it became a situation, I think, as of like last week, I just had a panic attack, and like my neck seized up, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to do all this. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And so I finally just had to calm down and say, remember who you are, remember whose you are, and press reset. As far as my locks are concerned, during the pandemic, I had been growing my hair out since like last year. And so I just decided to just press reset. It was a lot that was going on. I had all kind of stuff going on. And with stylists, if you were a stylist during the pandemic, you pretty much know it was HE double hockey sticks at the time. We were shut down here in Houston, Texas for, let's see, from March to May. And like I had an assistant, and then when I started, I didn't have an assistant because she had to take care of her kids. I totally get that. Okay. I was hurt that she left, but I totally get she had to take care of her kids. And so she had to do what she had to do. Well, I still had clients. So I had to come in and double time. And it got to a point as to where I was working myself into a tizzy. I was hospitalized in June. I was hospitalized again in November. And so I finally said, you know what? You got to take some time for yourself, and you got to press reset. Mm-hmm. And at that particular point, I'd already said, because I have a Tan Loc Brand Maven, and because she's learning the Tan Loc Brand locks, she's actually going to reinstall my locks in the middle. Yeah. And plus I have hot flashes. So I keep my sides. Ladies, are you with me with the hot flashes? It can get hot.
Real.
So, yeah, the heat is real. So I said, okay, I'm going to keep my sides short and just let this grow out a little bit more. And then she's going to go ahead and I'm going to just have that lock hawk. So I'm going to have that lock mohawk, in which I'll truly enjoy. This color that I haven't had this color. I think I rocked this color probably 20 years ago. And like, I used to wear my hair short. So when people see me like this, because they've seen me for like 10 plus years of my hair long, they see me with it short, they're like, what? Okay. And so, so that's the whole thing behind it, because I really do want to display the work of my Tan Loc Brand Maven. And also I want to be her model. And it's actually paying it forward. Just to say, okay, yes, I taught her, and now she's able to apply this onto my head, and I want to be her model.
Awesome. Love it. It's like, can't wait.
Yes,
so, look. So we want to talk about Google, and I posted a few of your posts, and I'm reading. Kafele says, "Locks or no lock, you're still locked in." With lots of green hearts.
Thank you.
And so I want to like maybe start there with some of the you sent me some images and I started to post them a little bit late, but I started to post them where you had like 789 different people who were looking for Sister Locks in Houston. And 80% of them were, I think, looking just for the category and not specifically for you. Which is what we need as stylists, is like we need people coming in who are just organically searching for what it is that we do and specialize in. So talk to us a little bit as far as like, what does that even entail and look like, and how do we get on Google?
Okay, it's easy to get. Okay, let me say this. Let me say this. You know, you always start out with, okay, this is your mission, and if you choose to accept it, it's terribly easy to get on Google. You can open up a Google My Biz page. You can do all of that good stuff. What is going to propel you? The part that you didn't see, I think I had like 49 to 69,000 views on my pics. What's going to propel you are your pictures. A picture is worth 1,000 words. And if a picture is worth 1,000 words, what do your clients' pics say about you? The reason that I say that is because before, and I've already said, you can get on Google My Business, and you can set up a page. That's the simple part. But the part that is going to be more challenging is to see if people really want to come to you or not. And that is going to come through seeing is believing. In this day and age, this is my rendition of passing out a flyer and a card to people I don't know.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, come see me. You know, I do sister locks, or I do these kind of locks. Come see me. But in the grand scheme of things, we also have social media that can be kind and they can be rough. So I have seen on Instagram, and you know, I always laugh about it, but I've seen young ladies and they say what I asked for versus what I got. And I've seen two that were like, oh, okay. It wasn't really what they panned it out to be. And then I've seen one as to where what they asked for, what they got was actually 3 times better than what they even asked for. So when you look at the grand scheme of things, you have to look at pictures. And when I say look at pictures, look at pictures. Tando Kapele, he's on here. Look at Tando's pictures. Tando has been in the game forever. I knew about Tando back in like the early 90s. And you know, I'm from Houston, but I knew about Tando then. And they were like, well, who's Tando? I said, see, you don't read. But you know, but I knew about Tando Kapele, and it's a pleasure, and it is a pleasure to have been able to meet him and interact with him, because he's a real cool guy. But to see his work and to see he takes his work and his craft seriously, it goes with the brand, it goes with the personality, and your work is going to display your personality. On Google My Business, it's like an elevator pitch. Okay, okay, excuse me. Just a second. Let me move it. People are still trying to send me stuff on Instagram. But but on Google, it's like an elevator pitch. And you have to communicate your personality through your client's work. This is what I do, and this is what I can offer you. And of course, if you don't have it on there, it could be that you don't do it, or you just get a chance to post it. But you also have to look at photo quality. Photo quality is very important. Do you have the lighting? What's the angle of your clients? Are you just kind of taking something with your, and I've seen my assistants do it, previous assistants do it. You know, I try to tell them to take pictures just to kind of see what they would do, and they would take the pictures, but to me, they would never get that angle correct. And when you start looking at angles, just like anything else, on Google My Business, when you get on Google My Business, you're going to be compared to all of the other million stylists across the globe. So if they see a Tan Loc and the model or the male model or the female model spunk. They're really got, they have spunk, and yours is like, that kind of thing. It's kind of lackluster, and it's not a lot of thought put into the photo. Then more than likely, people are more than likely to kind of pass you by. But when you have a presentation, when you put a presentation together, and when you have that picture and it's bold, and that style is bold, and it's from the angles, and you have the lighting, and you can really get that angle and the lighting and really get that sail in, then you've captured that person. And once you've captured that person, when your phone rings, then let's hope and pray to whoever you believe in. Let's hope and pray that everything is seamless, that your personality matches what this person sees online. When I get clients from online, I usually ask them, for marketing purposes, how did you hear about me? And a lot of people say, oh, I found you on Google. And, I love to hear that, because that means that my marketing dollars are at work. And when I say my marketing dollars, not paying Google ads. I did not pay Google ads anything to be at the top. Oh, no. I didn't pay Google ads anything to be at the top. And I do it, me. And this is because I enjoy, taking the pictures and really, doing. I work at a place called Salon Meyerland, and we have like 50 to 70 plus stylists on board. And I have seen some of the most magnificent styles walk out of the door. And because I have a rapport with a majority of the stylists here, we're all, comrades. I'll usually say, did you take a picture of that? And they'll say, oh, girl, no, I didn't take. I said, And I'm just sitting there like, why? And then, some of them like, Tan, I know. But it is so important that you capture those moments, because as a stylist, I can't tell you how many times people say, I want this style. And I'm like, I don't even know how I created that style. It just happened. It was a mood. The room was shaking. We were in the mood. I guess we had, it was margaritas and nachos flying around the room. Who knows? But I can't recreate that style. So you always want to have that phone charged, and you want to have good lighting, and you want to be able to, take that picture, because you never know. Or in my case, I've had a client to pass. I've actually had a client to pass, and I actually had to style her hair at the funeral home.
Wow.
And yeah, but I have those pictures that I took of her hair while she was alive, because had I not, I never would. And she will forever remain on my Google page. She's on my Google page, Miss Ruby, and she will forever remain on my Google page. And that's simply because those are also memories. But back to the question that you had, pictures. And I'm going to tell you, pictures, social media. When clients look at Google, the type of clients I have, now let me just tell you, I'll just give you just a background history. The type of clients that I have been attorneys, physicians, teachers, nurses, you name it. Soon to be millionaires, hopefully. But when they also have a brand, they have a brand, and their brand is, they cannot be associated with any negative activity at all. So that means if I'm having a bad day or whatever, if I want to go home and drink a whole bottle of tequila, I can't come in smelling like tequila. And if they want to go home and, if you want to go home and partake in some other things, you just can't come in smelling like what you partook in, if you will. So they can't be associated with certain behaviors and certain partakings, if you will. However, when they look on Google, they not only search those pictures, they do background checks. They Google everything. They want to look at social media. They want to see if what you put online matches up to what you have posted everywhere else. So What that also means is if I am on Google and I have these crisp hairstyles, but I'm on social media and I got two big Bahama mamas, and I'm, partying down every weekend, it's all about perception. And I think even if you weren't drinking those Bahama mamas, someone can perceive you to be an alcoholic, too much of a party girl for them. You don't want to put that type of stigma on yourself. Now, if you look at my social media page, you may see a tequila glass. You may even see a bottle that's swirled around. You don't know what it is, but my hand is not on it. Why? Because it leaves interpretation to the viewer. It leaves just sheer interpretation to the viewer. You don't see me. Oh, no, you don't see any of that, because people's perceptions of social media, and because social media has become the staunch of judgment, if you will, people judge you on those things, and
Right.
you don't want your business to suffer because you have made poor choices. And I can remember going to an event, I think it was in Atlanta, and some people were, I took a social media class, and people were bringing up their social media. It was a social media guru. I can't think of her name off the top of my head. And she looked at some of the social media and said, some of y'all need to scrub your social media. Just, I mean, bottom line, you just need to, you need to scrub it, because I've looked at some aspiring stylists. I guess it was a personal page because they don't know that they can get a business page on Instagram. I wouldn't go to them. I mean, what you do in your personal life is your business, and I'm not judging you on it. But if you are associating your business page as your personal page, it's not going to work for you. Or let me put it like this. What type of clients are you interested in actually coming and sitting in your chair? That's the next thing. So it all goes back to pictures. A picture is worth 1,000 words. If your photo quality is not good, more than likely, if the pictures are, if the style is good and the photo quality is not good, maybe you'll be in some good luck. But if the perceptions are off,
Okay.
maybe not.
Let me ask you this. With photography, because like you said, it is so key. And now, everybody's, grab the phone, take a picture or what have you. And it's like, it's great to capture those client images, right in the moment. But, do you work with professional photographers at any point? I know it was bigger, I think, to do photo shoots when there were more physical publications, more magazines and that type of thing, style books and style guides. But is that something that you recommend, suggest?
Okay, I would recommend both. I would recommend both. I have a Galaxy. I have a Galaxy phone, so my pictures come out pretty good. And I've been blessed because here where I work, we have we actually have like a makeshift photo room, so I can go in and soften lights, really enhance the lights, et cetera, so that I can really get the pictures that I want. But sometimes I just take the pictures in my salon suite. And when I do that, I'll make videos, but that all depends on the creative side. But if you know that you are not that creative, if you think that your phone is going to fail you at any point in getting those styles in, I would definitely invest in a photographer. And when you invest in a photographer, shop around and see what you can come up with, and make sure that those pictures are tasteful and not tasteless. I've seen some tasteful photo shoots, and I've seen some tasteless photo shoots. And it is very important for you to understand the type of pictures you take are going to attract the kind of customers that are going to pay for your services. So you have to ask yourself, what type of clients do I want? Do I want, and let me say it, do I want the professional client? Do I want the college client? Do I want the everyday client? Do I want the ratchet client? What kind of clients do you want? What kind of clientele do you want? And please do not say I can take everybody, because trust me, that doesn't work either. So you want to choose your stream of clientele. So I would say either one. If you're good with it, and if you're a photographer, then yeah, set it up so that you can go ahead and take that photo shoot. If not, hire a photographer. And I'm sure that there are some in your area. I know I have one. I've hired a photographer for a photo shoot. I do it every year, but because of the pandemic, I wasn't able to do a photo shoot this year, but I'm going to make up for it either in 22 or 23. Get ready.
Okay.
But I use both to answer your question.
Okay. Okay. And then what about the role of makeup? Because I think sometimes you can have a great picture, but if there's no, if the face is really plain, then that pop that you're talking about kind of like is muted or not there at all.
I would say I always tell my clients, come photo op ready. So they know to come and bring. So some of my clients, they'll bring a makeup bag and say, one moment, please. And they'll get it together. And so I've been blessed with, when I say come photo op ready, everybody knows, my clients know what my expectations are. So they'll go to a professional makeup artist and they'll come back and they'll be like, I'm ready. I'm like, oh, look at you, glamour shots. And so, we set it up like that. So I've been blessed in that case. But I mean, if you also have to choose your model. Are they going through and are they seeing sister locks, et cetera, et cetera. So on the Google My page, what you have to look at is they have a place on Google My page as to where they want you to set up different words. So once you set up those words, you set up enough words like your locks. Okay, if you do locks, if you do lock barrel sets, if you do lock repair, those types of tag words, because what's going to happen with Google, it's going to crawl the web. So once you're there, it's going to crawl the web and it's going to start to put you into the rotation. So once it starts to put you into the rotation and people can start to see your pictures, then you're going to start to kind of move up a little bit. But you have to keep adding pictures. Yeah.
Okay.
And add quality pictures as well.
Right. And how often, when you say you have to keep adding them, how often are we needing to add them?
I would say twice a month. I would say at least twice a month. The first thing that I would do as a newbie, and I'm just saying a newbie to Google My Business, I would stock up on pics first so that you won't be pressured into trying to add, oh, I got to take this picture. Oh, I got to do this. But you need to, I'd say for a whole 2 weeks, I would add pictures on my phone. Just add the pictures. Add the pictures.
Oh, you're saying, okay, before you even start with Google Business.
Before you even start with my Google Business, you need to have a plethora of pictures. So I would say I'd say the first 2 to 3 weeks. If you already have pictures, great. Make sure that they are quality pictures. If they are not quality pictures, people are not going to take you serious. And you want people, hopefully, you want people, high quality people who are going to pay what you were worth and not what they think that you're worth. That's a point for another conversation, but you want high quality pictures. And if again, Tan Loc was on here, look at Tan Loc information. Look him up, Tan Loc. Look him up. And I have a few others, but definitely look at those pictures and see how those angles are, and you can see how the models are positioned and how the hair is just seamless. It's nothing out of place. And if you're not sure about your work, DM me, send me some pictures, and I'll say, okay, this is ready for Google My Business. Or not quite yet, but maybe you need to work on some things, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now I do have freebies to give away. So we want to make sure that I have a freebie to give away. So I know you're probably going to talk about that later, Miki.
Well, go ahead. You're dropping it right now. Let's go.
Okay. Well, let me drop it. Okay. I have some freebies to give away. Tan's top 5 secrets on how to find natural, natural hair clients online, or have them to find you online. If you follow me at Instagram, at Tan is natural. Very simple. Tan, the color tan is natural. You can follow me there, and you can click the link in the bio, and you can get those tips. I think it's Tan's top 5 secrets, and I will make it available to you by for at least 24 hours. And after that, I'm taking the link down. I'm trying to go ahead and get those. I'm going ahead and getting those emails. So I want you to leave your email with me so I can go ahead and keep in contact with you. So if I have some other tricks and tips that I can give you, then by all means, I want to do that. I think the most I think that stylists of color, especially naturalistas and naturalistas of color, I think we miss our mark because we do not make our footprint in social media. And I think that is very important. Google is a free instrument. Google is a free tool. Anybody can use it, not just a couple of people, not just a few elites. And it's not about you having Google at your fingertips. It's, do you know how to use it? And I think that that's the most important part. And I don't see that taking anything away from myself from telling you anything about Google My Business. Because at the end of the day, just like there are different restaurants, just like there are different clothing stores, people are going to shop where they want to shop. And people are going to go to the people that they want to go to for whatever reason.
Right.
Okay. So that's my gem for that. But I have to keep going back to quality pictures.
Okay.
Quality pictures is so important. I can't overemphasize that enough. And also keep up with your analytics. When you get on Google, it's also they have an app, Google My Business. Keep up with your analytics so you can see exactly how you're growing. You want to grow on Google Analytics. You want to see how people are finding you. If they lose your number, and this is another thing, you can hand out cards, you can hand out flyers. I mean, I've gotten handed cards and flyers. If I had half a penny for all the cards and flyers I've been handed, I'd be rich 5 million times over. So if they lose your card, if they lose your flyer, how can they get in contact with you? If you said I can do different lock styles, how are they to know that if they don't have some type of example of the type of work that you do versus what you don't do? For example, the Bohemian locks, I don't do those, and it's not on my page. Now, I am going to share this little tidbit real quick before you go into your next segment. I want to share this with you because it's important. Do not collectively borrow other people's work and place it on your page. And I'm going to say this again. Do not collectively borrow other people's work and place it on. Don't go to Tondo Cafele's page and then decide, oh, this is a good lock style, let me put it on my page. Oh, I do something like that. They didn't ask you if you did something like that. They want to see what your hands were able to do and what your creativity was able to put together. I have seen this before. I had to stop a lady. She was here in Houston, and it was a twist style. And the lady who actually manufactures the hair and actually did the twist style is not from here. She's from Maryland. And I had to stop the lady and say, did you do this? She said, yes. I said, no, you didn't. And she says, what? I said, you didn't do this. The lady is not even from here. Where is the lady from? And she says, well, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. But okay, I'll take your card anyway, but I know you didn't do this. But what that also says is when you post other people's work, what that also sings to is a sense of low confidence and low self-esteem. So that means that you don't feel confident enough to put your own work online, or you don't feel positive enough to put your work online. But just make sure when you do put your work online, it can stand the test of time. Also, want to also say this real quick about Google My Business. Also, make sure that you are ready to receive ratings. because as you establish a Google My Business page, you will also get rated. All of it may not be good, and you don't want all 5 stars. The reason as to why I say you don't want 5 stars is because you want to let people know that you are a human being, and you have good days and you have bad days. All in all, it's all you.
Mm-hmm.
It is all you. So just make sure that you're able also to deal, because I forgot to say all of that. But it's a two-edged sword. Yes, people will see you. Yes, people will find you on Google. Yes, people will come to you. And yes, if they are happy about their services, they may or may not comment. If they're not happy about their services, they may or may not comment. And I implore you, if you do not know how to respond to customer reviews online, I put this charge to you to go ahead and do some Google actioning to say how to respond to customers online after a review. You really need to do that, because people are also going to judge you on how you respond to other clients. So if you get a 1 star or a 2 star or 3 star and you bite a person's head off, they're not going to want to come to you, because they're like, well, she's already on the defensive and I don't know her, but I don't want this kind of drama around me. You don't want to be judged on that. You always want to be seamless in what you're saying. And I'm not saying all of my reviews are good and all of them are not bad, but I respond to the majority of them, because that lets the person who responds know that you are interested in your business, you are interested in growing and evolving. That's the other part that I had.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah. So like you say, be ready and do a little due diligence to find out how best to respond. And I think you're absolutely right with, like the whole 5-star thing is like, okay, what's wrong with this picture? It's like you can't satisfy 100% of the people 100% of the time, even though that's our goal, but it's just not possible. Yeah. So really
And
good.
I
Go
actually
ahead.
learned that from Amazon. Actually, I had a product and it was wonderful. I'm like, oh, this product is excellent. And they had like a 4.8 or something like that. I'm like, why? Let me look at the negative comment. And it was like a lotion that I just got. And this lotion is just everything. It gives me the moisture and everything that I need. And one person said, I'm going to give it a 1 star because I was expecting it to be thicker and I won't buy this product again. Yeah, but the person just had the lotion just kind of right here. They didn't rub it in or anything. And so sometimes people can be, let me say this, sometimes people who give these reviews can be rather petty. And you can still respond and say, we're sorry that, you didn't enjoy the product, hopefully, you try us again in the future, and you move on. But if you bite that person's head off, you could cut yourself off from a lot of potential clients.
Yeah, absolutely. Really good advice. So I wanted to know with Google, is there a written portion, like somewhere where you have a bio in addition to the tags, or is it only tags and photos?
Okay, yes, there is a bio, and you need to script the bio. You need to talk about your accomplishments, or if you are a beginner, say that. Say, hey, I'm an up and coming stylist, and these are my picks, and I look forward to growing with you, and this is what I specialize in, blah 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 blah. And just talk about yourself. Hey, this is what my career path was, why you chose the natural hair care sector. And just go from there. Now, I am also going to say this, and I'm going to get very close when I say this. Grammar, spelling, proper English grammar and spelling is key to finding top paying clients.
Coming from a teacher.
Misspell words, yeah. Misspell words, but you have to understand, I do other educators' hair, I do nurses' hair, I do these people. These people are educated. That means they are looking for someone that shares their interest. They're looking for some commonalities. And if if you need to get somebody to write that out for you, then, hire somebody to do that. If you need to go find your old high school English teacher, then do that. If you have a teacher friend, say, look, I need you to look this over for me. I need you to really get in here and I want you to put the red marker to it. I need this to look like something, because when you are on Google, you are live, just like we're live now on YouTube. When you're on Google, you're on live. And I don't know if you've seen on Instagram where these people screenshot these Google pages and then they put it on Instagram and say, check this mess out. You don't want to be that person. Don't be
Right.
that person. You want somebody, and if you need somebody to look at your page from a consumer point of view, because you just, you're so bogged down on the business side, get somebody that's going to give you honest feedback, not what you want to hear. It's very important that you don't want to hear what you want to hear. You want to hear the truth, not your truth. These men in the air, speak your truth. The truth, because it's only going to help you in the future. Do you want to feel good about your page and nobody, your analytics are always low? Or do you want to hear the truth about the page? Hey, this needs to change. Pictures need to be polished. Da 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 da. Do you want to hear these things so that you can grow? And so you have to ask yourself that as a person. And this is where personality comes in with getting a Google My Business page.
Okay.
Because it's live and it's a living, breathing document. I have changed my bio because things have changed. I have increased my expertise. I have become a mentor to the Tan Loc mentoring program to new Tan Loc Brand Mavens. So that changed. So I had to add that. So when things change, you need to update your page. One thing that I did learn and pick up along the way is, and it almost happened to me, if you're not paying attention to your page, someone can actually come in and ask for permission to actually be the administrator of your page. So that means if you're not paying attention to this, yes. So if you're not paying attention to this, this is why I said to go in ever so often and, check your page and check your analytics, because if you're not paying attention to this, what will happen is if someone else is administering on your page and they're the admin on your page, they can post anything on your page under your brand. And that means it would probably take you months to years to even get your good name back, especially if it's something that doesn't represent you. So it is very important. This is Google My Business. Your Google My Business page becomes like a second child, grandchild, whoever you love the most at that time, your fur baby, whatever. That's what the Google My Business page becomes for you. And you have to keep in mind that you have to nurture that Google My Business page. It's going to grow. It is going to grow. It's going to grow simply because you're going to grow. So that means your pictures are going to evolve. You're going to evolve. You might even do a photo shoot, and then you might want to show that photo shoot on Google My Business to showcase, to show off some of your styles. But whatever that case is, you have to make sure that you're keeping up with your Google My Business page. And I had that to happen to me twice, and I had to message the person and say, you don't own this page, go away. That kind of thing. But if I had not been keeping up with the Google My Business page, I would not have known that.
Right. Right. Absolutely. That's almost crazy though. It's like, wow. So there's definitely a lot of things to know, a lot of things that you shared with us. It's like, this has been incredible. It's like we're getting some great feedback. Shaniqua Ross says, great info. Barbara Edmonds, best advice for success. A picture is worth 1,000 words. And Demetria Howard, pictures are definitely key. So yeah, it's like great. And so it's like we're really like ready to wrap up and everything. It's like you gave us a serious Google tutorial. And I guess I just have one more question regarding that. And if there's any just kind of general social media, tips or maybe things that you see people, not doing quite right that might give them a little boost. But with the Google My Business, is that connected to, like, say, your website and your SEO on the website?
Okay, so Google has a built-in SEO. And what I mean by that is Google has a built-in SEO, and you want to, if you're dealing with the Google My Business page, if you have a website, that's great. If you don't have a website, then that gives you time to get your website together. Now, I am going to tell you, get a website together if you don't already have one together, and you can link that website to your Google My Business page. As far as the SEO is concerned, search engine optimization, that Google already has the search engine optimization linked in. So the words that I was talking about earlier, they're going to ask you about keywords. You can put those keywords in, and Google is going to crawl, look for those words, and boom, before you
Okay.
know it, you'll be on the page. But the key is to keep posting, keep your business page active. If you don't keep
Okay.
it active, what ends up happening is you end up falling, and you do want to climb so that you can kind of get to a situation as to where you can tell people, I'm on Google.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have
Right.
to give them a page. So a lot of people are like, what's your website? I'm like, ma'am, Google me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
that's the part you want to get to,
Mm-hmm.
hashtag Google me, hashtag press reset. That's what you want to get to. So as far as the SEO is concerned, the SEO is embedded in Google. So with those keywords are a type of SEO. Also on your website will also give you SEO information as far as the keywords are concerned as well. So that'll also help you to kind of climb a little bit as well.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, this has been phenomenal. So thank you so much, Tan. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
any like just kind of last minute tips or tidbits for, just any social media, because we didn't talk about Yelp, we didn't talk about Instagram, we didn't talk about Facebook, all of those things. But I think Google is, like, to me, underrepresented when I'm hearing about different things. And I think it's so powerful. So thank you.
It is powerful. Google is the most powerful, and I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why. And thank you, Miki, for sharing that, because it just made me think about it. You have elderly people who may not be on social media. You may have people who are taking a social media cleanse and they're detoxing from social media. And the only thing that they do have in terms of social media is the Google page. If you do have a Facebook page, of course, get a Facebook business page. If you're on social media with Instagram, get an Instagram business page. If you're on Yelp, if you want to get on Yelp, and remember what I said before, if you get on Yelp, also post positive photos. You want to post positive photos. And
Mhm.
also, if anyone gives you anything less than a 5 or a 4, that's not your time to work your neck and do all of this. Because remember, you're not, if that person says, okay, well, I'm not going back to them, you're not marketing for them. You're marketing for the next person. And your response, is going to be key to determine whether or not that next person is going to come into you or not. And so that's why I said do some soul searching. And if you got to cuss the phone out, the phone can't cuss back at you. That's fine. But when you get on Yelp, or even respond on Google My Business, make sure that their response is polished, professional, et cetera, et cetera. And you should be fine. But photos, photos. If you're on Instagram, those photos need to be key. If you need to follow, like I said before, Tondo Cafele, who else? There's Terry Baptiste. Now Terry's raw, okay. Terry's raw, but I love him anyway, okay. But Terry's been in the game for decades, so he can talk like that. Everybody that knows Terry loves Terry. Tondo Cafele, he's been in it for decades. Look at their pictures. Look at how they position people, and how the makeup and the perceptions of the different hairstyles, so you can actually see what a crisp style looks like. If you are doing business out of your home, now, there's two kind of caveats to that. Let me say this. Now, when I say out of your home, I mean if it's just in the living room, it with a styling chair in the middle of the floor, or a chair in the middle of the floor. Not people who have a basement or a floor that they've devoted as a salon. Now, that's not what I'm talking about, although it's still in their house. But if you have uh, uh, a site, let's say in your home, as to where you're doing hair, try to make sure you can still set it up as if it's a professional setting. Still, I would still say that. And I say that because once I see the TV and the baby's in the back and she got the rattle in the back, I'm like, oh, this chick's doing hair out of the house. I don't know about this. This is kind of crazy. Still have it kind of set up professional so that when people see it's like, oh, you can't even tell that she's, in her house. This is great. Because when I see these photos of these in-home shot photos of these hairstyles and the lighting is crap, it's just, yeah, it's all right. It's so. But when you really want to compete in the realm of Google My Business, you are automatically going to have to step your game up. If not, you're going to be like one of those people who get a screenshot and it's on social media and it goes viral. And then they're like, what was this person thinking when they were styling this person? Don't be that person. That's what I can tell you.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Well, this is some really, really good stuff. So I really hope you guys had pen and paper out or your tablets or whatever you're taking some notes on, because this was like the real deal. This is the masterclass on Google and Google My Business, which I don't even know if I knew about that one, but awesome. So thank you so much, Dr. Tanya Taylor. And I want to thank everybody that's been here, that's watching now, everybody that is watching this on the replay. Thank you so much for being here. Want to share a few things about what's coming up for our next month, which I'm like super duper excited about. So definitely want to invite you to follow me on Instagram if you're not already. Next month, I'm going to be sharing hair loss tips. And these will be tips that you can that you can feel free to share with other clients, consumers, other beauty pros, etc. So follow me there. It's Miki Wright, just 1K, MIKI WRIGHT. And if you want to catch any of the previous interviews that I've done on Beauty Superstars Talk, it is all available at YouTube /Miki Wright. Again, 1K MIKI WRIGHT. Dr. Tan has mentioned Tan Loc several times. He was my guest last week. Really, really compelling interview. So definitely check it out. And I see Miss Barbara Edmonds is here. It's like I had the great pleasure to interview the legend Barbara Edmonds, and that is on there as well. So some really great things. But and we're also on podcasts. Some of the episodes are there, and it is on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, all of your different platforms, whatever you prefer. I'm getting some feedback. Do you have anything on? We might have to.
Nothing on.
Let me see. Maybe turn down your volume for just a second. I'm not sure why that's happening.
Okay, give me one second.
But basically, to partner with Beauty Superstars Talk, you can visit beautysuperstars.com and look for the red button. And I also have a new guide out. I want to call it a book, but it's more of a guide that is for people who are in salon suites or people who are considering being in salon suites, where I kind of drop my top 5 secrets to success and maybe really rocking out your salon suite in terms of the business that you're doing there. So definitely grab that. It's for free and it's at beautysuperstars.com. You can download it immediately. And we've already got some really phenomenal feedback about it. So I'll share that next week. But next week, speaking of next week, we have a double header. So I will be here on Tuesday and then I'll be back again on Thursday. So Tuesday kicks off our hair loss month, the root of hair loss. And we have the non-surgical hair replacement specialist, you almost could say guru, Gigi Ford, is going to be here. And she is phenomenal. And she's, like I said, taught most of the folks that will be doing services for you in the country. She's phenomenal. So I'm excited that she's going to be here. We've got a great lineup of more hair loss experts coming through the month. And on Thursday, we'll take a departure from hair loss. It's pure legend. And it's behind the scene legends, Fred Miller Jr. And he will be here to share his own story. He kind of grew up in the Soft Sheen organization and is an event producer. So a lot of the trade shows that you go to, a lot of different things, he's responsible for them even being on. but during his career, he's gotten to meet, work with, and get to be friends with so many legends in this industry, with hairstylists, makeup artists, educators. So he's going to be kind of spilling the beans for us, taking us backstage and sharing lots of stories with us about that. And so I'm super excited to be able to have that conversation and kind of capture some of that history on Thursday. It'll be a lot of fun, and we're just gonna let it go. And so again, I was like, please feel free to check out my interview I did with Volume Up from the Keys. It's their podcast. It's on the blog at beautysuperstars.com. And again, thank you so much to our new sponsor, Black Beauty Expo. It's the hottest show for Black creative entrepreneurs with hair, fashion, photography, modeling, and makeup. So all in one. The next show is August 1st in Atlanta, Georgia. And as I said, I'm super excited to have them as a partner. And I'm also their new global education director. So if you are interested in being an educator for the Black Beauty Expo, or if you want to expand your visibility and partner with Beauty Superstars Talk, just hit me up for more details. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much, Tan. I really appreciate all of the tips you gave us. It's like this is on. So it's like if you watch this and it's not on and popping, it's like something's wrong. Go back and watch it again. So so thank you all, and I will see you guys next Tuesday. So everybody have a great evening.
All right.